Time now for the news review segment, where we get to have a conversation about some of the topical issues, bring you different perspectives, and of course, allow you the opportunity to also send in your thoughts, your comments, and contributions. The show is interactive, and so we want to hear from you. The WhatsApp number is on your screens. We're live on socials as well. We are actually live on YouTube, we're on Facebook. We are very active on X, and of course on Instagram. But you can enjoy some video content from us on TikTok as well. Let me say good morning to Fad Osman. He's a member of the NPP's communications team. Good morning, boss. Good morning, my brother. Really good to have you. I'm always tempted to turn your name around.
Okay.
Osman Fad.
I believe it has been like that out there very often.
Yeah, for some strange reason, it sounds better in my head.
You're not the only one. But then I have brother who usually tell me that Fad, it is not Osman Fad, it is Fad Osman.
Fad Osman.
So he insists on the Fad Osman. If not, names are very, very important.
Indeed.
Over a period of time, your true name will be lost.
Exactly.
As people keeps on.
So the Osman is actually the surname.
The surname.
Right. And so it's Fad Osman.
I believe you've heard the name before. Fad.
I've heard the name Fad, but I don't know what it means.
It comes from Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
You know, King Faisal. I hope you've heard the King Faisal football team.
Yeah.
They are all royals from Saudi Arabia.
Right.
So King Fad had his time to rule some years ago in Saudi Arabia before King Faisal.
Okay.
Yeah, in that regard.
Okay. Very well. Anyways, this one we're beginning from your home. So let's start from the top of the home and then we'll break it down. We'll start off with the presidential primaries. Yesterday, I think 5 aspirants were vetted.
Yes,
all of them went through the process. About 1 hour each for each person. I mean, these are known people, so it wasn't expected to be a difficult task for the vetting committee. But run us through it. There are 5 of them who are contesting to lead the party. You're going into primaries in January of 2026. What's your own observation of the aspirants going through the process, and of course, definitely from today, officially launching their campaigns, going into campaign mode?
I think it's important, and first of all, let me say good morning to our viewers and to you too. This is my first time on your platform. It's an honor to be here.
Absolutely.
We know how far you reach, and being here, it's a good thing. Well, as you indicated, we are having our internal primaries. That's presidential primaries, 31st January 2026.
Yeah, 2026.
Well, initially, it's for some reasons. Whoever proposed the idea for us to have these primaries early, I think whoever the person is this morning, I'm saying thank you very much to that person.
Yeah, sure.
I'm telling you,
not every member of the party agreed to this.
Well, those who sits from where I sit, who appreciate that having these primaries early will help us put our party together, prepare for the next elections very quickly.
This I mean, primaries that has been described by many as a top to bottom approach. I mean,
anyway they want to
the party primaries itself to elect the executives.
You see, per our party constitution, presidential candidates do not have term of office. Let's not confuse the two.
Really?
Presidential candidates do not have term of office. They are presidential candidates. They can be elected at any point in time,
right?
Depending on the situations at hand.
Okay.
As compared to party officials who, from the polling stations, per the constitution, have a 4-year mandate, right? So when the 4 years is up, you need to go and do another elections over there.
Yeah.
So this is not this is out of the situations at hand. We just lost 1 major elections, very, very important elections.
Abysmal performance.
You see, we're trying to do something that had never been done before. In an election year, that has been labeled as super incumbent and super incumbent election year, 2024. If you look at all the political activists, political commentators out there globally, had labeled 2024 as anti-incumbents election year, which across the world close to 60 elections. So it's something that you cannot really say abysmally. We find ourselves in a situation where
margins by which
circumstances as at that time were not favorable for our party as an incumbent government as at then. So we need to quickly adjust ourselves, and I think that's what the process is going on. What is important now is that I will call on all campaigners and aspirants out there that let's manage our campaign in a manner where after 31st January, it will be too difficult to call on every member to come back and join in pushing whoever the party elects as the leader of our party. That's very important because this is internal contest. And as you know, contest for whatever reason it will be, there will be some 1-2 issues.
Some jabs will be thrown
at each other. It is normal. This is, as men, at this level, it's not even possible to go for contest and you don't hear some of these jabs. So what is important is that we should be very careful with how we throw the issues at each other. We should not destroy the party. with this internal primaries, and I'm not sure that this will destroy the party because we've gone through several elections like this, and sometimes even more competitive than this.
Yeah, you've had 17 contests and all. Yeah.
You remember the famous 1998, the Sunyani Congress, where we had the then candidate, President Kufuor, contesting with his in-law. As at that time, we knew what happened in Sunyani.
Yeah.
We went to Legon, the famous 17, as he indicated. We saw how the turns involved in that contest. And after all, we come back again and prepare our party for the next elections. And I'm very certain in my mind that this is what's going to happen come 31st. But what is important is that the processes leading to the 31st is very, very important. It should be transparent. And I think what happened yesterday gives the aspirants the view, or give them the opportunity to also raise concerns. Because if you go through vetting, it's not just going to you be answering questions. If you have any issues, you can bring it to the attention of the committee, and I believe they will address it. And I think it's important we put it in that perspective. What is important now is that, please, aspirants and campaigners, I belong to one aspirant. I I believe in the ideologies and leadership of one aspirant. I'm not here this morning to discuss that. But what is important is that we should manage our campaigns such that the cracks wouldn't be that huge to amend after the internal elections. If we're able to do this, I'm very sure in my mind that come 2028, the elections will be an interesting one. Because you see, as you indicated, we are in opposition.
Yeah.
And we are planning to even elect our leader next year. Look at the government's right? That's the NDC. See what is happening now.
What is happening?
What is happening? We've been told that there's a thank you tour ongoing. We've told there is this jogging ongoing. We've been told others are also trying to, some tortoise will be riding the elephant at dawn, right? There are a lot of issues happening. You see, and that's the beauty of...
If there's a thank you tour, what is wrong with it?
There's nothing wrong with it.
Right.
So as an opposition party, we should even be in haste to elect our leader, because you see, we are the opposition, largest opposition party in the country. We need a leader to hold this government to account. As a member of the New Patriotic Party, I can only come and sit here in the capacity of what? As a communicator, right? Speak on issues. But the weight which it comes with, when it comes from the leader of the opposition party, who is the flag bearer, it carries a lot of significance.
Indeed.
And the international communities also pays attention to such a person whenever he speaks on issues. For instance, look at the demonstration yesterday on this police harassment and the discrimination arrest ongoing on. Assuming we had a leader who is the opposition leader speaking on this matter, I believe it will give it some level of significance, which people pay attention to. So it is good we have our leader quickly. And just like our brothers from the NDC also jogging, doing thank you tour, and the tortoise were riding the elephant at dawn, I believe it all come together. Come 2028, Ghanaians will determine.
Have you done the house cleaning? Have you done the housekeeping to allow the base to be comfortable with this idea of presidential aspirant first?
I don't think there is a problem with that. I'm myself, I'm a delegate, former constituency executive, from a grassroots. I'm a grassroots person, and I don't think this is any big deal. We've had this before. You know, in between 96 and 98, we had 2 presidential primaries within that same space. So we had done it before with the same voter register or with the same delegate system. Do you get the point? So there's nothing serious. There's nothing wrong with what is happening now. Yes, some people will also suggest that why don't you go down and start building from the foundation? Like
you've always done.
And as indicated, presidential candidates do not have a period of time specified for them to be in office.
Right.
That's why our constitution says that when we are in power, we have a certain period we elect our leaders. And when we are in opposition, we have other periods to elect our leaders.
Right.
So it indicates that we do not have specified period for presidential candidates. As compared to our officers, like the polling station, constituency executives, regional executives, and the national executives, whose mandate is 4 years. And whenever the time is up, you have to go and elect other people to take over. I think there's no differences with this. I believe our party people are also in support of what is happening. As I indicated, I'm a grassroots person, and I support it. And I believe majority of our party people also support it. And the aspirants themselves have also subscribed to it. That's why they're also contesting. What is important is that they should manage their campaign. That's the most important thing. See, the contest will go on, people will raise issues. But if the campaigns are managed in such a way that the cracks wouldn't be that much, after the elections, we can quickly call ourselves as brothers and say, yes, it was contest between 2 big men of the party. We are done. What's the big deal? Let's move on and push the party forward for the next elections. I think that's the most important thing where we find ourselves now.
Very well, thank you. Let's say good morning to Hamza Suhini. He's a member of the NDC's National Communications team. Hamza, it's good to see you.
Good morning, my brother, and good morning to my brother on the show as well. And of
Welcome.
course, your production team and our cherished viewers out there.
It's good to have you. It's good to have you. So your brothers on the other side went through vetting yesterday. 5 aspirants seeking to lead the NPP into the 2028 elections. They will have their primaries next year, 2026. I think it's January 31st.
January 31st.
Yes, it's Saturday, January 31st. Successful vetting, if you ask me. I mean, we spoke to all aspirants after they came out of the vetting. No, if you like, no hostilities. It looks like it was a very professional process. Your take on this, your observation on this process?
I think that we have run seasoned commentary on the activities of the New Patriotic Party since it lost the last election of 7th December 2024. And I can understand the attempts of the political party to rebrand and, most importantly, position itself to face the next general election. And so one can only hope and pray that indeed they do so within the tenets of their own constitution and to a very large extent the constitution of the Republic of Ghana. And like you indicated, I think that we've not had anything, we've not heard anything untoward as far as the election, the vetting processes were concerned yesterday. And it's a feather in their cap. The most important thing is how they can at least quickly get out of the tantrums being thrown against each other as aspirants and focus on the bigger picture, that is repositioning the New Patriotic Party to make it at least a viable political force when it comes to our democratic space as a country. So we wish them well. We have done enough commentary on whether it is top-down approach or down-top approach or whatever.
Or bottom-up.
Or bottom-up approach. I think that it is within their right to determine which way they want to govern, even if it is instigated by a select few within the fold of the New Patriotic Party, and they managed to find a way of pushing it down the throats of the
rest of the party members.
Party. It is still their political party, so they decide what to do. But I can assure you that, like I have always stated, we do not wish them bad. We wish them well for the sake of our democratic space.
Right.
The NDC is not aspiring to be the only political force under the 1992 Constitutional Republic of Ghana. Indeed, we are hoping that the third, was what we call it, Alan's political party, what's the name of it?
Movement for Change.
Movement for Change. Probably would become another force as far as our democratic space is concerned. An engineer is not here. Hopefully, Engineers Political Party, the CPP, would also suddenly go back to the drawing board and see how they can find something to bring them back to life when it comes to the political space of this country. So I wouldn't say much. It is their political party. They will determine how to run the affairs of that political party, either for good or for bad. But one thing is certain. This new National Democratic Congress that we are championing, I can assure you that it is going to be difficult, extremely difficult for any political grouping to be able to unseat this new NDC.
Yeah, sure.
Because we know what we are doing, we know our promises to the good people of this country, and we will do everything within our power to fulfill these campaign promises, albeit there will be challenges. But I can assure you that many of these challenges are surmountable. And so we would ensure that we remain true to the good people of this country. We remain moderate. We do not use invectives that can be described as insulting to the Ghanaian people when they raise legitimate concerns about what they need to be done for their country to move forward. We will respect them. We will respect the Fourth Estate, the media. We will protect lives of media men. We will do everything within our power to ensure that we have a very acceptable platform for the media men of this country and women of this country to be able to carry out their trip, like we did under the first John Dramani Mahama, where the likes of Manasseh, Suro, and co. had the freedom of speech and state protection to go about their journalistic practices. Unfortunately, same cannot be said in the last 8 years when many of them, including Manasseh, had to be flown out of this country for his own safety because of the work they did, the unfortunate demise of Ahmed Swale and the like. So clearly, we will remain committed to the foundational principles of our democratic space, and do everything within our power to ensure that we protect the sanctity of the 1992 Constitution. When it comes to the economic space as well, we will do everything humanly possible to ensure that we resuscitate the comatose economy that was handed over to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the National Democratic Congress. And as you can see, the road has been quite Herculean, but I can assure you that we are committed to it, and in no time, our economy will be brought back to life. Unfortunately, we are dealing with an age-long challenge. Which is Galamsey. And like we have continued to say, that, look, we will do everything to confront the menace. And we are not ruling out a declaration of state of emergency as well. So we are on the same page with civil society and professional bodies who are calling for a declaration of state of emergency. Just that the difference has to do with timing. And so when we implement the policies that we are implementing, and we feel strongly that indeed we are not getting the desired results, be rest assured that His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama and the National Democratic Congress will do everything to ensure that we confront that menace head on. And if it includes a declaration of state of emergency, that also would be done. So, Nana, like I indicated,
that's when your friend is not here.
Government.
He's been busy doing Galamsey expose.
I can understand why he would try to avoid this platform, because today, so tell him. Tell him, but we would have that
I'm so
discussion. We spoke a day or two ago. So I spoke with him a day or two ago. But I can understand I can understand his passion, though clearly misplaced.
You think so?
Devoid of principle.
You think so?
Absolutely. Because if you are running commentary to the effect that indeed Galamsey, in its current form, started in 2010, disingenuous and unfair to the literature, because even if you go online today and search through the World Bank, under His Excellency President Kufuor, they released a report, and in that report it was indicated that one of the reasons why they were pulling out of our natural resource sector had to do with the menace of Galamsey and its polluting effect on the likes of River Ankobra and Pra. As far back as 2003. 2003. Who was president in 2003?
Right. John Kufuor.
Again, under His Excellency John Ajokum Kufuor, Shiraj had cause to release an environmental assessment report in 2008, where they lamented profusely about pollution of the water bodies as a result of Galamsey, occasioned by the first introduction of Shamfan machines, somewhere 2007. 2008. And so by 2010, the NDC government under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was only reeling under the effects of what was started as far back as 2003 and was not contained by the NPP administration. But even with that, before we left office in 2016, we managed to hand over a very clean River Ankobra. You remember? And there were pictures to that effect by the drone pilot Edemstrom and the likes. So if for 8 years, you failed to manage the situation, and many of your identifiable party operatives were engaged in it. Indeed, I am struggling to understand where this moral justice or the moral authority is coming from, as far as the NPP is concerned, when it comes to the issue of Galamsey. In any case, I'll listen to my own good brother and friend, and I am struggling to understand what he's proposing when it comes to the Galamsey fight, because I cannot simply, I am unable to piece together the end game. Whether it is a declaration of a state of emergency, it is not a declaration of a state of emergency, how should it be fought? The same gentleman who called and indicated that he will lead a demonstration against President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo if he should proceed to ban small-scale mining. So the stands quite confusing and lacks clarity. So hopefully next week we will meet here, and I'll have I'll
you
get
put
the
some questions
to
before him.
ask these questions. But until then, let me say, Nana, without mincing words, that yes, Galamsey is a challenge. This government is fighting it in a way that we feel that it is sustainable, and we respect the views of the Ghanaian people, and we can understand their desire for a haste when it comes to that fight. But I can assure you, one thing we will not take is lessons from the New Patriotic Party that for 8 years failed to deal with the Galamsey menace. We have a 4-year mandate. And by the end of that mandate, Ghanaians will be able to assess our handling of the Galamsey situation. It is not under 8 months. That point needs to be made. And we are committed to resolving it. So when Ghanaians are talking, those who for 8 years were given the mandate to help alleviate the challenge, and they woefully failed, indeed not just failed, they became celebrated enablers of Galamsey trade in this country. Suddenly, are those speaking the loudest when it comes to the Galamsey fight? Where from this moral authority? Where from this
I'm sure next week we'll have the opportunity to put that. But Fad, I'll give you a brief opportunity on this one. You are part of that team, right? Yeah, so.
Which team is that?
The team that were fact-finding on Galamsey.
Oh, the team that decided to mimic the likes of
Harassment.
And you see, Nana, I nearly forgot that just under a minute. I nearly forgot this point. You see, one thing, even in opposition, the NDC set standards for the New Patriotic Party. You notice that immediately upon assumption of office, the likes of Vincent Asafua tried casting themselves in the mold of the likes of Okudzeto Ablakwa. Today, my own brother Miracle Sabwaji has suddenly seen sense in the politicking of Sami Jemfi, CEO of Goldboard, and suddenly has gone to adopt his strategies. That is something commendable. The NDC will continue to do it. We continue to teach them. They must be enough to concede that when it comes to this political space, we are the dons, and they must be humble enough to learn from us.
All right, you see, Hamza, my brother, Nana, I think this is the government's Minister for Communications, right? Felix.
Yeah, Felix.
Provide evidence Galamsey has worsened under Mahama. You see, what happened over the weekend with Director Miracle Abuaje's expose on Galamsey across the country and its impact, it's not born out of something we are trying to learn from the NDC. No. It was a call made by the government's Minister for Communications. That if indeed we claim that Galamsey has worsened under them, we should provide evidence. So what Miracle sought to do over the weekend was to gather media men. And we all know that if I ask your reporters here to travel across the country to gather this evidence, it comes at a cost to the media house. So Miracle only provided an avenue, right, to bring together these media houses and reporters from media houses and ascertain the impact of Galamsey. And this particular incident, that's what's the name of the river? Ayensu River.
Yeah.
You see, there's no Galamsey activity in the central region.
No.
It's on facts. There's no
Not
Galamsey.
at all. None at all.
At all. In the entire central region. In that particular area. There's no Galamsey activity going over there.
So they are only suffering
from a different region.
Exactly.
That's the eastern region. So you see now the impact of it. It's not you are not benefiting from the Galamsey.
Right. So the pollution is upstream.
So that's how dangerous it is. And we've seen others also indicating that yes, it is true that somewhere 2021 we had a similar incident within that particular area, which government took measures to in dealing with that problem. And truly, if you look at, there's this video I came across, I think yesterday, where people were being invited to visit the river in 2020. Clean water. And truly, I was in the community with Director Miracle Sabwaje. We engaged the people. They told us less than 2 months ago, the water was very clean. So within this space of 2 months, it had gotten this bad. So if today the NPP speaks on this matter, and our brothers from government tell us that we don't have the moral right to speak on Galamsey matters, we hear them. We don't have the moral rights. But what is important is that the effect does not discriminate. The effect of Galamsey does not know NPP member, does not know NDC member. You get the point?
Yeah.
So that is why we find it important now to raise some of these concerns. And Director Miracle Sabwaje had nowhere called for a ban on mining activities. Never. He's only suggesting to government that the promises you made prior to 2024, and these promises are not implemented. That is the calls he's making. So as an opposition person, he is within his rights to call on government that it is true that prior to 2024, one of the issues, one of the realities of the country was Galamsey, which you as a political party then took advantage of, sponsored demonstrations across the country, sponsored people to call strike actions. I remember University of Ghana lecturers, some of them calling strike action. I'm a student from University of Ghana. I asked myself, why strike action now? Yes, but just to the advantage of your party. And today, if you are in, please don't be reluctant. Solve the problem. That's all we are saying. So if this is very difficult to accept, my brother, I think it is important you get it from this perspective. My director had no other motive than to draw the attention of this government that you promised to what's the name? What's the name of this bill on the
LI 2462?
You promised to repeal it. 8 months along the line, you've done nothing about it. You had members of your cabinet ministers today, then in opposition, made promises, made claims that government should declare state of emergency on small-scale mining activities in this country. Is that not the case? So what changes today? So if today you are telling us that we don't have the moral right to call on Galamsey, I want to ask my brother Hamza here this morning, what is the justification for the people who are enjoying today as ministers? What is the justification for today changing their position? From calling for state of emergency some few months ago, and today, is it because today they are ministers of state and they see no need for state of emergency? Is that the case? So Hamza, you may see it as a political activity being done by some people who are trying to mimic, as you indicated, mimic some of your people without any problem. If that's how you see it, without any problem. But the viewers this morning, as my minority leader usually says, our jury out there this morning will ascertain and judge who truly have the moral right to speak on Galamsey matters in this country. Because if you campaign on it, and we can go back to the data from as indicated, from 2003 all the way now. We can go back and look at the water quality levels from 2003 all the way to now. And Miracles had also presented a very beautiful analysis out there, which maybe for political reasons you don't want to look at it. If you look at 2010, the quality of water in this country, we had 40 water bodies that were being measured or that were being monitored in this country, and they were considered as fairly good. As of 2016, out of these 40, we had only 13 of them being considered as fairly good. As of 2016. 2024, it had gone up to somewhere around 25 or something. So if today you tell me that we had failed with the fight against Galamsey, and as a result of that, Ghanaian voted us out of office, and because of that, we don't have the moral right to speak on Galamsey, we hear you. The jury out morning will know truly who has the credibility in fighting Galamsey. Because me, from where I sit, I don't see this government putting up any efforts.
You don't see the commitment?
What's the commitment? Where's the commitment?
They have declared that they are going to station men, military men in the forest. They have trained the Blue Water Guards. There's the
Blue Water Guard was in existence before this government. Let's not.
That was your River Guards.
River Guards.
So they only changed the
name. You see, all the approaches the current administration is running a rebranding of existing initiatives, which he claims were not effective. That's what he said this morning. Claimed they were not effective, but yet you find a need in rebranding them. Unfortunately, I'm not trying to remind the families of the departed souls in the aircraft accidents. Where were they going to? What was the purpose of their visits? They were going to launch a program that was already in existence. The communities mining a program. That was what they were going to do. They had only renamed it. So all the efforts being put in place by this current administration depart from the promises they made in opposition. Depart completely. That's what we are saying. So if, as an opposition party, we do not have the right to make these claims or to recall or to withdraw the attention of government to these issues, then I don't see our impact in this democracy that we are practicing. So, my brother, with the greatest of respect, see it as an opposition party who is performing its responsibilities in drawing the attentions of some of the promises you made, some of the deceitful promises, campaign lies that you made to the good people of this country in winning power. And after winning power, you've abandoned completely all these promises and focusing on the same activities you did when you had the opportunity to be in office under John Mahama 1. See what they are doing currently, this burning of excavators, chamfine machines, had been in existence I think in Mahama 1 administration. President Akufo-Addo did the same. But the impact had not yielded that much. So what is important is that, please, let's understand, we are not going to politicize the issue of Galamsey. We are only speaking as Ghanaians who are concerned that what is happening across the countryside, we need to wake up. Today, those who had the voices some years ago had decided to keep quiet. That is what's happening. So if today we've had a certain group of people, a new group of people who chooses to speak on Galamsey, I think it is within their right to make those calls. We should not make it look like it's a political advantage we're trying to take or mimic some individuals within the NDC. Far from that.
Right.
We are speaking because people who had the voice and who had been known to speak on these matters have decided suddenly to keep quiet.
Okay.
And as a result of that, nobody's speaking. So as political party, who we also have the opportunity like this, I think it's fair we speak on this matters and we are within our rights as a political organization. Thank you very much.
Hamza, briefly on this Galamsey bit of the conversation, and then we'll move on to...
I think that I have said all what needed to be said when it comes to the fight against Galamsey, regardless of the jaundice and the influence so-called reports being bandied around by the New Patriotic Party. I think the reports that they have come only to appreciate now after 8 months in opposition. Quite strange. Quite strange. And that has always been the stock in trade of the New Patriotic Party. And so listening to them over the weekend, especially when this issue broke, I just couldn't believe it. And I can pardon my brother, because maybe he's trying to now appreciate the Galamsey politics that characterized the last 8 years of the Nana Addo Dankwa, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia regime. An unforgettable experience for the good people of this country. You see, it is not just ignorance, but disingenuous to create an impression that Galamsey has become worse under this government. Only in power for 8 months. Absolutely unacceptable. It is also disingenuous to create the impression that we are recycling ideas that they introduced. Possibly. I don't know where he was when we were championing the 2016 election campaign for retention of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. He would have realized that the outcomes there that we went to launch in Kumasi was actually on the table and part of the NDC's manifesto for 2016. It's clear where President Mahama spoke about the need for cooperatives and these cooperatives to be tied to our district assemblies district assemblies system so that at least some monies would go to them in the form of fines for reclamation of the lands. It was spoken about in 2016. So if there's anybody who attempted stealing ideas, clearly it was Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And that is why I'm telling you that I can forgive him. Maybe as far back as 2015, 2016, he was not politically active. So that can be forgiven. I can forgive him. But you know that in 2016, President Mahama spoke about it. It was at the back of that, about cooperatives.
Yeah.
It is because of how they handled it, a different concept of it. They cloned it. And we came and there was a need for us to restructure and ensure that we inculcate the cooperative mentality or policy framework into the whole idea of alternative livelihoods transition. That is the difference. And Nana, you see, as for the New Patriotic Party, look, I am already mad at the destruction caused to our water bodies. And many of us, including leading members of the National Democratic Congress, undoubtedly, even up to date, are demanding for a declaration of a state of emergency. And that is why His Excellency President Mahama, in his engagement with the media, indicated that it was not out of the equation.
So it's the last resort.
It's the last resort. And unless, of course, you do not understand English. So how do you take that to mean that the presidency is reneging on his promise to declare a state of emergency if need be? And that is the point I made. We need to contextualize the demands of civil society and professional bodies in the last 8 years when they were calling for a declaration of state of emergency. And indeed, they were justified for doing so. Because we're dealing with a situation where they had given 8 good years to a regime to resolve the menace. And rather than resolving the issue, the regime itself became certified enablers of Galamsey activities. Wama, the person who said that the Asante mayor, the Kumasi mayor, was engaged in mining our forest reserves, Sampine. I was not the one who made those declarations. Did I say that indeed the president's most powerful cousin was more or less the negotiator-in-chief for many of these illegal mining sites. It was their own minister responsible for environment, science, and technology that they fired. Am I the person who said that party here, Sika? Was that not their own national officers of the New Patriotic Party? So this is the context upon which the Ghanaian people demanded it. Because you created a ruse of attempting to ban small-scale mining in your first year, only for you to take advantage of that to capture mining sites. That was the whole issue. And that is the reason why we never succeeded in the fight. And the kind of coalition we experienced under them, did you experience that coalition under President Mahama? This was a coalition led by media men of this country because they had had enough of the activities of Galamsey and its devastating effects on our waters and human life. So they championed it. So the government had reasonable goodwill to have acted, but it failed. Indeed, those who were tasked with the responsibility of fighting Galamsey were caught on camera, live TV, under your regime, taking bribes to make way for illegal miners to go back to the site. But in the previous John Dramani Mahama regime, what did we notice? In excess of 1,000 Chinese miners were repatriated, deported back to their country. Is that not a fact? Today, as we speak, there's a regulation when it comes to even how Chinese people would have access to our country, announced by the minister responsible for foreign affairs. We have introduced a licensing regime for excavators. And interestingly, do you know that many of those who imported the excavators, hoping that the NPP would still be in power, they are unable to go and clear those excavators. We are looking for the owners of some of them.
Is that why we moved the excavators from the port?
It's part of the reasons. But I can assure you that many of them are actually running away from going because they know. They know that when they come, they will be exposed. So go to the sites, Nana. Take your cameraman. Many of them have simply boycotted the processes of going to seek for the licensing regime because they know, we know the personalities behind these imports. Crazy numbers of excavators into the country, hoping to clear many of them before the elections, but unfortunately, they were not that lucky. So these are the issues we are dealing with, and that is why I'm saying that we must be careful not to be distracted by the noise of the opposition New Patriotic Party. That is only seeking some measure of relevance using the fight. And we would not entertain that. We have a job to do as a government, and we are focused on doing that job. But Nana, it is expected. If I were the New Patriotic Party, I would rather try as much as possible to partner and support this government to resolve the Galamsey crisis.
That's what your brother said.
No, you know why? Who?
Dennis. He says when he sees commitment, I mean, you people should show commitment so that they help.
But I've just demonstrated to you the commitment. Unfortunately, they cannot determine our level of commitment when they had none. When they had none. Indeed, when the entire government was a Galamsey government. So I can understand that if they cannot appreciate or see commitment, because the word commitment, when it comes to the fight against illegal mining, is not even in their dictionary.
Very well. Very well. Let's move on to other matters. Yesterday, you hit the streets. NPP youth. You say you Ahunahuna. But should people not be held accountable for, or people not be responsible for their actions?
Well, no, I think it's very important that in any democracy, responsibilities to actions are very, very important. So as I sit here this morning, whatever I say, I should be able to hold myself to accountable. Myself before even somebody holds me to accountable for what I say on this platform. I think it's important. And in this, our fourth Republican democracy, we've come a long way. We've gone through the dark days where people were being adopted at night, judges were being adopted at night, and the following morning we hear that their dead bodies being found, being halfly bent or whatever. Let me not go there. We've heard journalists being arrested for speaking out. We've gone through those days. But what we are currently being confronted with, and what we are not certain yet, but if you look at the evidence being displayed, is that there is this deliberate attempt by some state security agencies to intimidate, frustrate, and also, to a large extent, create a certain environment where people from the opposition will find it very difficult to express themselves. I think that should not be tolerated. That is my first point on that. And also, if you look at, as I indicated, like the occurrences, you see, sometimes you can say this is out of 1 out of 100. So sometimes there's nothing to talk about. But when there is a pattern, it happens 1, 2, 3, then certainly there's a pattern now. We witnessed the arrest of say Obama Pokwase. Look at the Rambo star with which he was picked up at dawn. We witnessed the Rambo style arrest of my own brother Adenta Kumi. We witnessed the arrest of this gentleman, I think, Fanti Comedy, who couldn't control what his audience will say on his platform. He can't control. Like this morning, if you ask your viewers to call in, you can't control exactly what they say. They will say it before you realize they already said whatever they want to say. And then you take responsibilities for what they've said. Fanti Comedy came out to apologize that what this particular individual said on his platform were not appropriate. Yet, we saw how they were treated. And I'll go back again to this same incident that brought up a lot of arrests, the sudden accidents that occurred, I think. I know one NDC communicator, my own brother, that's Ahunahuna, made some statement on one of the radio stations accusing the opposition of having something to do with that accident. To date, we've not seen him being picked up. So if we sit back and ask ourselves these questions, we wonder that is it some deliberate attempt being orchestrated by government and its agencies within the security agencies to cause some level of fear and panic? And also, you see, we've seen another development, and I think this morning I will speak directly to the Ghana police, is that whenever the police arrest a suspect, they make publications of them, right, with their faces covered. I believe that's the practice. But have you wondered, whenever any political activist from the opposition is arrested, their pictures first comes onto the social media with their face not covered. Then that same pictures end up on the pages of the Ghana Police Service with their face covered. That same pictures. So officially, the one on the Ghana Police pages have their face covered. You get the point? But on the other platforms, the same pictures, but their faces exposed to the people out there.
But those platforms don't belong to the police, do they?
Now this is the question. Who took the pictures in the first place? The same pictures. So it's the police who took the pictures and now share it with their friends. I believe that's the case.
That's your suspicion.
Well, I don't know yet. I'm only suggesting. So I'm calling on them. Now, if it were to be, let's say, for instance, let's say there were 2 different pictures, then you will not be alarmed that why all these treatments to people from the opposition. You get the point? So we are only calling on them that, yes, we all know as communicators and advocates of politics, we have responsibilities, and we will be held accountable for things we say, which we do know. But please, Ghana Police, in your process of seeking accountability from us, please be transparent. Don't discriminate. Just like I listed, Ahunahuna was arrested, spoke negatively. As we speak currently, the police have not invited him. So Obama, who only shared an existing content that was already on social media, and calling the police attention, he was arrested in Rambo style, detained for close to 4 or 5 days. My brother Adenta Kumi only petitioned the president. He only petitioned the president and spoke on radio about it, and the next day he was arrested. So is it the environment and the democracy we intend to protect? So we are only saying that, yes, if there are some political individuals involved in this attempt to silence the opposition, we are sending a warning to them. The New Patriotic Party had gone through dark days with this party, with this current government. We've gone through in 1992, where we had to boycott parliamentary representation. We had gone through 1996, where our people were arrested just for speaking up. Today, that the whole world is watching us. Do you think these things will intimidate us? We are going to be careful and cautious of what we say. But in doing so, we also call on the Ghana Police and all other security agencies, be it the NIB, be it the whatever security agencies it may be. My own chairman was picked up because he spoke against we are told that's Chairman Abronye he spoke against the IGP, and he went to the police station. They invited him. He got there. They asked him for his phones. He asked them, "Why you invite me on my phones?" Because he couldn't present his phones. Another treatment altogether. He was treated as if he had robbed the Bank of Ghana of billions of dollars. Just put some fear in people out there. Yes, we need to protect the democracy we are practicing.
Indeed.
But in doing so, if it applies to me, please use the same hammer you will use. And if it applies to my brother Hamza, use the same hammer you used on me. Don't throw flowers to Hamza when it applies to him. But when it applies to me, you come at me with this. What's the name of the vehicle?
The Black Maria.
Black Maria. As if there are some armed robbers who are going to escape from justice. So I think that's the most important thing on this particular issue.
People being responsible, especially on social media. But let me pick Hamza's thoughts on the demonstration yesterday.
Yeah, I'm not feeling really great today, so forgive my voice. I'm battling with. I'm not well. That's the most.
Don't worry, you'll be fine.
But I'll be
praying.
Is it the weather?
It could be part. It's not really the weather, though, but it could be part. Of course, I will have to leave midway. I've asked
That's
for
fine.
that
That's
permission.
fine. That's fine.
I didn't want to let you people down. Now, Nana, I listened to the New Patriotic Party, and I think that I monitored their demonstration throughout yesterday. I'm told it was championed by their national youth organizer, Salam Mustafa, who himself is an example of what not to say in politics. Because if you go back to his social media pages, the vitriol, the reckless, the condemnable, the toxic political commentary that he was engaged in was not only reprehensible, but criminal in nature.
He has grown. So
but because our politics is that forgiving, because it was under a president who understood that no matter how distasteful your utterances can be, especially as youth, you would be forgiven to think that you are doing so under the principles of freedom of speech and expression. And so many of them got away with it. But what they have forgotten is that the NDC in the last election promised a reset. What it simply means is that we would no longer condone any acts of reckless political commentary that has the potential of destabilizing the democracy of Ghana. We will not. And I am happy that state institutions are taking a cue from the reset agenda. So many of these things that you see happening, and already made references to, are simply state institutions' own agenda to restore some measure of credibility and integrity when it comes to their functions. And I'll demonstrate to you why. It is not coincidence or accidental that it appears that our state institutions simply attempt to exert their own power and influence under a certain regime, because they know that when it comes to their regimes, that particular regime, the laws of this country will be allowed to work. Right. Remember the case of the Muntie 3. Who was president? Which party was in power? It was the National Democratic Congress under His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. When certain members of the National Democratic Congress were accused of reckless political commentary and threatening the integrity of the judiciary of the Republic of Ghana, the judiciary asserted its authority, invited these people, and they were sent to prison for 6 months, if you remember.
And what happened after?
Do you think that could have happened?
No, what happened
Please.
No,
Do you think
Hold
that?
on, let him land.
Do you think that could have happened under an NPP regime? That His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo or Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia would have sat down quietly and would have allowed the judiciary to have exerted the kind of influence and power it did under President John Dramani Mahama in the case of the Muntie 3.
But if the courts find the person guilty,
You see, they wouldn't have even gone to the court, let alone the court finding them guilty. You know this. And
that's false.
The emperor.
Oh, that's false.
At the time, for 8 good years, you think this could have happened to any NPP
that's
cooperative?
That's very false.
We were in this country
that's very false.
under the same Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo when invincible forces besieged a court in this country, and the judge had to run for her life. In Kumasi, have you forgotten?
Yeah.
What happened to them? They did not just go on radio and threaten judges. They carried out that threat. In this same country and the same NPP and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, when an Ashanti Regional National Security Coordinator was pulled out and mercilessly beaten in his office, what happened to those people? That was an example of a lawless state under the Nana Addo Dankwa, Dr. Mahama Bawumia regime in the last 8 years.
So that's what you're trying to prevent?
No. Yes, we need to prevent that. That kind of lawless obsession. We are dealing with a political party that a journalist was murdered in cold blood for simply carrying out his journalistic duty of exposing government.
Oh, is that
but that's a matter under investigation.
No, Hamza, is that
but what led to the death of the gentleman? Was it not because of the work he did?
Oh, no, Hamza, don't do it. Is that the facts?
It is a fact
Hamza,
that what
facts?
kills him. Oh, come on.
Oh, that's not the facts.
Come on, please.
No, hold on,
Please.
Hold on, Fad.
This is very misleading, Hamza.
You
Don't
see?
do this. Oh.
You see? These are the facts.
What is the facts?
Was Ahmed Suro not murdered in cold blood?
He was. But what was the reasons?
Before the job he did, was anybody after his life?
No.
Have we been able to sentence even a fly for the murder of Ahmed Suro in the last 8 years?
It's a matter under investigation. Investigations have not concluded.
Wow. So, and we are dealing with a regime that decided to clothe party apparatchiks in national security outfits to cause mayhem on the streets of Accra. Ayawaso West Wagon by-election, have you forgotten? Even members of parliament were assaulted. Guns were fired as innocent civilians.
Recently, Ablekuma North.
Oh, but what happened in Agwe? Can you compare the two incidents? Be honest with me. Have you forgotten the Ayawaso West Wagon picture? Ablekuma North was progress, no matter how condemnable that was. That was progress compared to what we experienced. In a Ayawaso West Wagon. That is the kind of situation we had. A regime where journalists had to be flown out of this country for their own safety, for the work they were doing. So when we talk of a lawless state, a regime using power to intimidate, frustrate, and kill dissent, the Nana Addo Bawumia regime is a classical example.
Very well. But
And
can
see-
the service, the state agencies do their work in a manner that appears professional and not as though it is discriminating?
I will get there. You know that I'm not afraid to express my views on some of these things. I've just given a classical example. So today, if you see the IGP invoking his institutional integrity and credibility to protect the sanctity of the institution that he represents, it is not new. It is because they know under whose presidency that they can do so. It does not mean that they are not excesses. For example, I have condemned the attitude of policemen being in hooded, whatever they call it, jumping over walls, trying to arrest people. I don't think that it is something we must countenance in this country. And I've made that point clear. And I called out their Inspector General of Police to at least refine that particular activity when it comes to arrest of suspects in line with the government's reset agenda. And that is the difference between us and the New Patriotic Party.
Right.
That point needs to be made. Now, as for the state institutions, we would not interfere when it comes to their functions. We will not. Representative Mahama, I know, will not constitute himself to a clearing agent even before the CID comes out with a report on suspected criminality of his appointees. He rushes into the media to clear them. Like we saw under His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahama Bawumia. We will not do that. But you see, you need to understand that what happened yesterday was not a demonstration sincerely organized to expand the frontiers of our democracy. Absolutely not. It was simply intended to open the frontiers or an avenue for Salam Mustafa to launch his bid for national organizer of the new patriotic party. He was testing the waters.
Really?
Absolutely.
So he was testing his own popularity among the
Absolutely.
party
It was
base.
simply intended to strategically position himself for his unhealthy appetite for national organizer position. Because look, he belongs to the group of failures that led the NPP to this stage that it finds itself. So you can understand, unfortunately, he decided to tap into the innocent 12s of my own younger brother and his colleagues. Just to make that political statement. That's the truth. If you look at the crowd that came to demonstrate, many of them, you see, this government has launched an important campaign against red. And
Red
it would have
means
been
stop.
useful. Red means stop. It would have been useful for Salam Mustafa to have taken advantage of that platform, rather, to educate the Ghanaian youth about the dangers of drugs than what he did yesterday. And I can understand, like I indicated, longing for acceptance and forgiveness because of his reckless political commentary. And so, my brother, I wish them well, but as a listening government, I can assure them that we would engage with the police, we will look at their petition, though it is an empty petition, but whether we like it or not, they are citizens of the Republic of Ghana.
Right.
And we have to do the honorable thing by listening to them, no matter how painful it is, or no matter how disingenuous those complaints are. I will not bore our listeners and viewers by going back into history to remind you of how certain NDC perceived people were treated in the last 8 years of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Right.
Because we are not going to be engaged in that politics of needless comparison.
Very well.
We are focused on resetting the country and we do everything within our power to ensure that that is done. But I can assure you that indeed, they should thank God that His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama is president and Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman is vice president. If we had different people manning the affairs of the state, the NPP would have been given a dose of their own medicine. They gave this country and the NDC in the last 8 years. And I can assure you that they wouldn't have been able to survive it for even a month. But they should thank God that we have a forgiving personality as President of the Republic of Ghana, a man who is committed to our democratic dispensation and will do everything within his power to protect it. They should thank God.
Hamza,
if Mahama was casted in the mode of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, by now, many of the NPP operatives would have been out of this country.
Very well,
Do you
Hamza.
know what we had to go through in the last 8 years? They should thank
We should
God.
expect more. That's
You
what-
should
that-
thank
we should
God
expect more. That's what
that you
I'm
have
saying.
Mahama as
We should
president.
expect more. We hear you, Hamza.
On that note,
Hamza,
We'll
thank
be
you.
expecting more from you.
thank you for the time. And
we'll be
as for
expecting
my
more.
brother, you see,
Next
one
week,
simple
next week.
advice. Or I shouldn't give it.
Next
Hey,
week.
Hamza.
One simple advice.
Next week. You
One
have been
simple
doing
advice.
free consultancy for the MPP.
That's why today I decided not to
See,
run any meaningful commentary on their vetting or whatsoever. Because I see the mistakes. I can appreciate where they are headed. So
Right.
it's only proper to urge them to continue on that tangent.
Very well. Thank you, Hamza. This is Breakfast Daily. I see your messages coming in. I'll take a few of them, then we can go on a break. This one says, we can all argue that the Galamsey crisis is as a result of poor governance and leadership, echoing the biblical warning about the dangers of human kinship. It's only God's kingdom that can help Ghana. Prince from Lembele sent that one in. This one says, posterity will judge all of us if we continue to do politics to the destruction of our water bodies. Continue. All right. Keep your messages coming in. This is Breakfast Daily live on ChannelOne television. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll continue with the show. All right, you're welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily here on ChannelOne television. We're having the news review segment. Unfortunately, Hamza has had to leave us. He has another appointment elsewhere. And so he's asked for your permission, not mine, to excuse himself from the show. But we'll continue. Father's still here with me. I'll take a few of your messages and then I go back to him to wrap up his submission regarding the Ahunahuna demonstration. This one says, Hamza can continue to dance around the issue of Galamsey. He can try to do the gymnastics just to impress his NDC people. We, those he's talking to, are listening to him with interest. Was it miracles that said Galamsey has gone west under Mahama or the 2UC on May Day? We are watching you people. Okay. Good morning, Anna. Tell Hamza not to joke with Ghanaians at all. We are sophisticated. The NDC has shown signs of failure so early as life continues to be so challenging. We shall kick out the Nima, sent that one in. Good morning to your panelist. NDC has failed on Galamsey as that wasn't the promise made to Ghanaians. President Mahama in opposition promised 3 months to eradicate the canker, but what do we see? Chocolate-colored water all over. We shall vote them out come 2028. Haj Swala from La Paz. Hi, I am Michael Brown from Nsawam. The moment Miracles Abuaje fetched the river and Cobra, then I knew our river gods are fanfules. NDC should fix this and stop blaming the previous administration. If they were good enough, we wouldn't have brought the NDC. Okay. Rex from Ashoman. Miracles Abuaje and NPP have no shame with their vacillating stance on Galamsey. Nanado hoarded Professor Frimpong Boaten's report on Galamsey for 2 years without action until the minister himself came out to reveal it. Even with that, the NPP attempted roasting the minister for his objective report. Again, Nanado defended the most notorious destroyer of our forest. Under NPP, 9 Galamsey forest communities emerged at the blind side of Ghanaians. If the NDC had come, most Ghanaians wouldn't have known. Okay, I'm sure you mean if the NDC had not come, most Ghanaians wouldn't have known these illegal communities riddled with crime and fraud. That's destroying our youth. The NPP is an enigma of democracy, you say. That's Rex from Ashauman. It will serve the NDC well to remain focused and find a meaningful solution to the Galamsey menace. Ghanaians gave them a mandate to address this issue, which they previously struggled with during their tenure from 2010 to 2016. They shouldn't sound as if they are still in opposition. It sounds very annoying. Amino from Nsawam. Good morning, Nana. Tell Hamza to stop making noise because the NDC as a political party is trying to destroy democracy. All right, keep sending your messages in. We'll do our best to read them on the show. Fad, so, I mean, you've raised the issues for which the party, or if like the youth wing of the party, went onto the streets yesterday to demonstrate. But one will ask, all these persons who were arrested, did they not have questions to answer?
Well, I believe, as I indicated earlier during my submission, that as communicators and advocates, we do admit that to some extent there will be some excesses that will be held accountable for. We don't rule it out. But in the process of holding us accountable for the things we say, that's very, very important. In the process of doing it, you, the one given the mandate to hold me accountable, should not also go beyond your limits. Engaging in excesses like the Obama situation. The Obama situation is an embarrassment to the Ghana Police Service. They should be ashamed of that. Obama only shared a content that was already on social media. And you pick him up like, come on. And yet, these people who were seen in these videos are still up there with their arms. You see the danger of it. So we admit that people needs to be held accountable for the things they say. But in holding them accountable, we should be guided that we don't set a certain precedent that will come to dirty our democracy.
Very well.
I have said this, and I still hold that view again. That I know someday, as there's a saying in Akan, right? To which, if you are somebody who is like on these platforms every day, certainly one day, there will be something you will say.
Exactly.
That might not be good out there. Fanti Comedy apologized immediately after what happened. Yet, look at the treatment. What stopped the Ghana police from inviting, say, Obama Bokwasi to come with his lawyers? He comes and he picks his statement, he goes, the next day he invites him. What stops that? So it is the process that the Ghana police, all of a sudden, and my brother here said, they now see a leader who will give them the opportunity and the atmosphere environment to operate. We hear them. See, I have come to accept one thing about political communications and governance is that whatever anybody believes in, let them say it. But the viewers out there knows the truth and they will judge for it. If you tell me that Adenta Kumi, whose crime was to petition the president, that was his only crime, was to petition the president on an important matter to him. And he speaks on it on TV and radio. The next morning around 6 a.m., armed men, masked, goes to his house with his wife cleaning up and look at the trauma. His mother and his entire family. So if that is the process of seeking accountability from people like us, then clearly you are not doing it in the right way. So Ghana Police Service, yes, we know there are some individuals. You see, and the good thing about Ghana Police Service is this. If you are out there and anybody in government is calling on you to do things this way, your brothers and friends also know of this. And they tell us all of this information. You see, we are with them. Oh. We meet them at nights, at places, we do talk. So there are sometimes they tell us things that is happening. So we will call on them. Mr. IGP, you have a mandate to protect every citizen, irrespective of political affiliation. If I am found wanted for any commentary made on this platform, you have every right to invite me. But please, my mother is a sick mother. If you arrest me like they did to say Obama Pukwas, you end up killing my mother. And that is only to stop me from speaking up my mind. So I think it is important that in this process, and also a caution to ourselves, that yes, we may sometimes be carried away by the platform we find ourselves on, and the viewers and people cheering us on, to a point that we may say things that may not be appropriate. I think it's also important to advise political commentators and communicators to be guided in the things we say. We should be guided in such that whenever you're being called to render account for the things you've said, you can boldly beat your chest and say, yes, I said these things, and this were my justifications for making those claims. I think it will be very, very important in our democracy, because you see, one thing is that if people perceived that there is harassment, it is not just its existence. The moment they perceive there is harassment, then it's something we need to be very worried about. And a government who truly believes in its strength should never fear the people. If you truly believe that this government is doing something good and is on the right path, what is the fear again? And giving examples to, just like my brother said, I don't want to do the comparison. They are past in the gone. We are growing as a democracy. We've come of age that we should not sit here and make references to what happened 16 years ago. Then claiming we've not grown yet as a democracy. We cannot sit here and say, Muntiet, the way it happened, and so we should entertain it. We should keep on encouraging people, paying people to insult people on social media. I will not go far. We saw, what's the name of this gentleman? The gentleman living in America. What is his name?
Who is this?
The gentleman, I'm told he lives in his wife's basement in America. He had to run commentary. You remember, our current Chief Justice being appointed. Congratulations to him. You know, his brother was involved with a particular scandal in this country. A court made a ruling. He was sentenced to jail. And out of this ruling, we had an individual attacking the courts, right? Attack this court. See, antagonize the court, made the court look so dirty. And this court issues out a bench arrest for him. He lives in America, so they couldn't get him. He was smuggled into this country, protected by state resources. They kept him at places that people will not even know. He went to court, and we had another judge overturning the initial arrest warrants. This is the kind of democracy we are protecting. Is it the democracy we are protecting? So if you've encouraged others to do it in the past, and certainly that is the result of it happening today. I am not justifying some of these claims or some of these statements. Me, myself, very, very respectful person, I will not do that. But then, we should also ask ourselves the question, what happened in the past that led to some of these commentaries being made today? Because if people like this guy living in America in his wife's basement could get the opportunity to come down to Ghana, and the allegations were that he was housed at the official residence of the vice president with state security protecting him. Yes.
Well, it's an allegation we can't substantiate.
So these are allegations. And the truth is that he went to court and another judge overturned this ruling. And today he beat his chest and say he controls everything in this country, because today the president is his, whatever you want to say it, I don't want to repeat such words. So these are some of the issues that had led us to where we are today. So I think we should be very careful in how we deal with these matters. And as I indicated, a government that believes in its strength should not be afraid of its people.
Do you think there's a deliberate attempt to gag freedom of speech?
Well, you see, sometimes when politicians are involved with invisible hands, you cannot easily tell who is the one directing issues. And the government is a big government, right? It's a big government that you might not even know, probably somebody somewhere is giving this or this. You cannot really tell. We don't have any evidence to that. But as I indicated, it is important that if this government believes in its strength, then there's nothing to be feared about. They should focus on their mandate given them and allow people to speak up on issues. If we speak to a point that there are excesses, we will not run away from accountability. But please, in the process of seeking accountability from people like us, communicators and commentators of politics in this country, we should be guided. That's the most important thing. See, how, and I gave an interesting example with the NDC communicator who pointed fingers at the opposition party with the accident that occurred. As we speak currently, he had not been invited. Not talk of even invited, not talk of arrested.
Yeah.
We've seen what's the name of the NDC National Vice Chairman who shamefully attacked our minority leader. We've been told he had been invited. Have you seen his pictures out there with handcuffs on him and all that? No. But when it happens to the other, we see the haste in which we want to publish pictures, we want to show them power. For instance, the Black Maria City, it was needless. Ghana police, it was completely needless.
What if that was the only vehicle available at the time of court?
We've seen one suspect. See, I'm sorry again to the family of this gentleman who lost his life, I think, at around the Kwabenya area.
Is the immigration officer? Yeah.
I've seen the accused persons involved in that case being taken to court, where the family members of this victim tried to even attacking the accused person. Right? You've seen the videos.
Yeah.
They were transported in pickups.
Right.
You've seen the Abronya situation. You've seen the number of policemen that were presented or that were present at the court that day. Right? Look at the number of police people. What is the crime of Abronya?
He's a person of interest. And
what is the crime?
And his popularity, I mean, the police will have to take
So you think the NPP supporters
the
NPP supporters there on that particular day were going to attack the courts for
the police would not know that those people there are NPP
so there's a deliberate attempt. That's now to the question. Now, this comes to the question that you ask. Is there any deliberate attempt to gag people from speaking? That's where the issue comes from.
You think so?
I believe that governments and its officials, through the security agencies, and even look at the Abronya situation. Look at the ruling the judge gave.
The animal
farm ruling. That some animals are more important, right?
Or more, he says, often said that men are equal before the
law. Huh?
But it's okay.
No, are you proud? I'm not a lawyer, but are you proud of that ruling? Are you a lawyer?
It's okay.
Are you proud of that ruling? We've heard legal opinion on that ruling. How shameful it is. So if it is, you can tell the scheme of events that deliberately somebody is trying to use power given to them to intimidate and frustrate people from speaking up. You can tell that within Akufo-Addo's administration, we had people from the opposition. We had Semi Jemfi sitting on national television. I can't repeat some of the words. To a point that he made a claim, with the greatest of respect to the former president, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, that President Akufo-Addo does not have the mental capacity to rule this country. He said that on national television. Yet nobody invited him and took him through all this harassment.
Very well.
So please, if we entertain Sami Jemfi and his likes to attack the president, then calling him names like I can't even repeat some of those things.
You don't need to repeat
them. So please, the government, as I indicated, if you truly believe in your strength, there is nothing to fear.
Very well. Very well. A few quick messages. Nana, are the NDC saying Ghanaians should wait for 8 years before something would be done about Galamsey? Isn't government a continuum? So the NDC cannot say they are putting other measures to see if it will work. Go after the campaigns in the Galamsey menace. Let the MMDCs tied to their KPIs. Put the police in the areas and let the chiefs also get involved. That's a suggestion from Eddie from Asamankese. Maybe Hamza forgets how his own chairman Asiedu have to run for his life when his own party tags invaded the party office. He has forgotten about Kevin Taylor. What has the NDC not said in this country when they were in opposition? 4 years is just around the corner, you say. This message here says, Galamsey is a menace we should all work to eradicate. Both NPP and NDC have a hand in that menace. We want solutions, not the blame games. Remember, the effect of Galamsey is ubiquitous. It will reach every household. Hashtag stop Galamsey now to save Ghana. Thank you for your messages. Keep them coming in. We will be reading them as we progress on the show. SHS placements. Over the years, we've seen parents and students besiege resolution centers complaining about challenges with this system. What are we not getting right?
I think I've seen the videos from yesterday where parents and students, out of frustration, complaining that their preferred schools were not given to them, and even to a point where the regional minister, the Greater Accra regional minister, making some statement that if you don't get your preferred schools, or if your child does not get a preferred school, get them some extra classes teacher. I didn't get the impulse of that message very well. I don't know what she was trying to mean. But the reality is that we've been confronted with these situations from the beginning of this school placement system, from the very beginning. And I think systems are such that it identifies its loopholes, then you build upon them. So I will call on the Ministry of Education and its agencies to for over the years, we've been confronted with this situation, students complaining, sometimes the perception of some transparency issues that goes on, people going through back doors to get their school changed for them. I think protocol systems and then what have you. I think these are some of the significant issues that over the years had been confronted with this system. And I think it had not helped really much in its efficacy.
You think we can go back to the old system where schools will have to select their preferred students?
Well, I think that's also another problem. If you're not too careful, you end up selecting all the brighter students
into one particular school.
And some schools end up, you get the point. You know, one thing about education is that you cannot just judge somebody's level of educational or somebody's capabilities in terms of education at any level. It evolves. Somebody might be good at primary school, gets to junior high, becomes better. So sometimes you have to be careful how we put them. But what is important is that we need to ensure transparency.
Right.
And I think the operators of these systems over the years should do a proper audit of their systems and be able to tell us that, yes, probably some people, you see, I'll say this today on this platform. Part of the problems we faced with our administration, and as a result of that, this high level of apathy in our party in 2024 elections was that you had party people complaining.
Right.
That I called this person to help me replacement and the person couldn't do anything about it. And that's the reality. There's little the person can do about it. So, but then there was another perception. I just saw, I think, a Facebook post recently from an NDC friend indicating that the free senior high school coordinator does not even have access to the placement system. How is that possible? So you can see how political actors want to get favors from the same system that Ghanaians are struggling to get efficiency, are seeking efficiency from. So I think what is important now is that the operators of the systems, we cannot go back to the old systems. We should improve upon the systems. We should do an audit of it, identify where the challenges truly are. Sometimes it might even be that data incompatibility. Putting in the data of a student at the point of entry and at the point of placement becomes, there's some discrepancies, and as a result of that, they don't even get the posting done. These are all possible. So we should audit the system, know where the problems emanate from, majority of them, because the problems might be many or number of problems.
Have we failed to invest in our schools so that at least we can increase the number of, if you like, category A schools, no, and also improve the infrastructure of existing category A schools so they can increase their intake?
No, I don't think so, because if you look at President Akufo-Addo's 8 years, I'm from Wenchi. We had this secondary school there, Kwasi Technical Senior High, one of the traditional senior high schools in Wenchi. Within 8 years, President Akufo-Addo had to improve upon that school, and today it's one of the best schools in the Bono region. He did a lot across the country. Yes, our situations and our challenges as a country will not end anytime soon, because as human environment, our needs keeps evolving, and we'll keep asking for more. But it is important that we also ask ourselves these significant questions. These systems in place for placements, where are the loopholes? These are the very, very important. If you're able to identify the loopholes and see majority of the challenges where it's coming from. And also, I also say this to parents out there, if not for any extreme circumstances, if your child is being placed in any school, and I said extreme circumstances, I don't see the need why you don't want them to go. Because one thing about life is that you get opportunity to meet new people, explore new environments, and get to connect with other people from different environments that may be different from your environment completely. So it should not always be as usual. Yes, I'm in Accra, and my child is being placed to Ho. I don't want him to go because it's far. And that mentality you see, and that's how we all grew up to come to accept that, even if at the level of teachers and nurses, they are being posted to communities and villages, and they don't want to go. Because from early stage in life, they've denied or they've rejected posting to places that are not in common with their places of living. Do you get the point? So I think we should encourage our children and wards to also pick up some of these placements. If not out of extreme circumstances, accept the placement. Let the child go. This is school. As long as there are students in there, There's nothing different that your child can also survive in that particular environment. Let them
Right.
go. They'll come out better than what you're even expecting from them. I think that's very important in that regard.
Very well. Since you mentioned that you are from Wenchi, let's say good morning to Nana.
My Osajefo this morning, Nana that's my big brother.
Yeah.
That's my big brother.
Very well, very well. Fad, thank you so much for this morning. Fad Osman is a member of the NPP's communications team. Earlier, we heard from Hamza Suhini, who is a member of the NDC's communications team. Thank you also for sending your messages in. Keep them coming in as the show continues up until 11 a.m. Philip Nilate and Chris Carter will take over after this break. I am Nanatu Boate. Many thanks for your time. Stay with us.